Welcome back to my reaction series of watching season 7 of Drive to Survive. We are on episode 8 now. This one is called Elbows Out. After a record-breaking 2023, Red Bull has a lot to live up to. With one driver slowing the team down, veterans and newcomers alike battle for his seat. Okay, so this is going to be the Daniel Ricciardo episode and the Liam Lawson, Yuki Tsunoda. I might cry. Let's get right to it.
How are you feeling?
Not that I've ever had therapy, but I can only imagine.
Oh, he hasn't had therapy. That explains a lot.
Therapy would be like. Checo's form has taken a dive. He's in a cauldron of pressure. Oh, fuck. There's an enormous burden on his shoulders.
Yeah, and who's adding to that burden?
What about higher up? Just go a less hairy, a bit up top. Is that okay? Yeah.
We need to stop the rot.
Oof.
You finally made F1!
God's taken. I love getting home content with Daniel.
Get away from me! Come on! This is why I'm an uncle. I'm Daniel Ricciardo, racing for Visa Cash App RB Formula One team.
You could just see the sign in him when he...
To remind these cats. Remind them I can still do it. And I'm still a dog.
Oh, I miss him so much. His, stupid energy.
Settle down, Vin Diesel.
So do you think you've got what it takes to be back at Red Bull?
Yes. Otherwise I would not be here. Fuck it, why not go all in?
This season is make or break for Daniel Ricciardo. There's no two ways about it.
Yeah.
Walking away from Red Bull in 2018 was the biggest mistake he ever made.
Yep.
How often do I roll them?
Once they're cooked.
So how do I know once they're cooked?
When they turn brown.
Series? I think my 14 years of F1, my salary has gone to food delivery businesses.
Same.
I would love to be teammates with Max again.
Me too.
You know, complete that fairy tale story.
Actually, funny, you never ever said you wanted to be an F1 driver. Ever.
I just winged it my whole life. I hated it.
I don't know.
Everyone forced me to do it.
He could either find himself Red Bull racing seat or back to the farm in Perth.
It's like putting a dog out to pasture. Oh, they're gonna show his spin. Boo.
Yeah, the spit, that was my fault.
Oh, all the greatest hits. Not even gonna show that Alex was in that crash? Oh, they did there.
Is that inner hunger? Does he want it enough?
Sorry, mate.
Perhaps his heart and head aren't quite in agreement at the moment.
Interesting.
So, Liam, respectful hunger.
Respectful hunger,
So you really want this seat?
but I'm respectful.
Yeah.
I'm not respectful.
No, he's not.
I just don't understand, golf. Oh, dude, roll. Just roll. Roll in the green. I don't know why it's such a popular sport.
First ever points finish in Formula One.
He was way more impressive in 2023 than 2024.
Brilliant job last year of standing in for Daniel when he broke his wrist.
I still think that if Daniel didn't break his wrist, he would have been in Red Bull last year. This episode so far is just making me mad. Oh, Leo!
This feels so tight. No way. My poor penis.
The driver who performed really good historically normally gets nominated to the Red Bull. We just focus to
Poor
maximize
Yuki.
the performance every race.
Who's your main competition?
Daniel.
We've been told that the summer break there could be some movement, and it's a really kind of critical time for all of us to show what we got.
Interesting.
But I think whenever he's had his back to the wall, that's when he's at his best.
Are you sure about that?
Red Bull is
a team that changes drivers in halfway in the season or so on. So if you don't perform for a weekend, all alarms go on. The pressure is always on.
That can't be a healthy environment for anyone. Oh, Checo.
If we keep going like this, we're fucked. I just don't get it. With Checo.
So do you think he's going to last till the end of the season?
There's no guarantees.
This is what I'm saying. They were heavily considering putting Daniel in. The only thing I want to know from this episode is why they didn't pull that trigger. That's the only thing I need to know.
I'm a big fan of Daniel. I mean, I know he's not been competitive, but we know what he's capable of. Yeah, I think he can sniff that there's a bit of a chance.
So this might have been at Spa.
How much they've made aware to the public that Checo is on the boat.
What Christian's been saying publicly is the way that it's been approached with Checo is through a lot of support, right? As opposed to, we're definitely fucking replacing Checo. He's fucked. DR's in. Liam into V-carb.
Happy days.
For you, I think Christian, and he's taking the time to see what happens here. He needs success.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do think that was at Spa. So I feel like they have this a little bit out of order.
Kind of being told like these could be the most important races of your career, that excites me.
I can't do this much longer.
Okay.
Just hanging around, you know, watching races, losing my mind, mate.
It's interesting that Liam was like really impatient, and that does make me wonder if that's why they made that change with Daniel. I can't remember what happened in this race for Daniel. I want to say they got fucked on strategy again. Oh yeah, of course they got fucked on strategy. It rained and it's racing balls.
Sorry. This is all I got.
Verstappen about to lap his Red Bull teammate for the second time.
I forgot about that.
Certainly struggled today. Sorry we didn't have much more to give.
Silverstone did not go good.
Ugh.
In those tricky conditions, it's... I don't know, I guess I don't want to admit it, but yeah, I believe that I'm still willing to put it all on the edge. But maybe I ask the question now, where as a 22-year-old or 25-year-old, you probably don't ask the question.
Oh, that's interesting. That is really interesting.
What is the question?
I don't know if I want to say it, because it's too vulnerable. Yeah. Like ultimately, is it worth the risk, you know? But yeah, it just opens you up for weakness.
Oh wow, that's interesting. I'm gonna pause this right now because I actually need to talk through this. So what that's telling me is that Daniel no longer is willing to take the risks that he used to when he was younger. And that can either be because of something in his personal life, or that could be something scared him enough as an F1 driver that he doesn't want to take big risks anymore. I can't remember where I saw it, but someone on some social media somewhere said that Daniel hasn't been the same since Romain Grosjean's crash. And I do think that's true to us in a sense. And part of that could be what he went through at McLaren, and they're both confounding factors, but he hasn't been able to push, especially in qualifying, in the way that he used to. So the fact that Daniel can recognize that is quite interesting. And that does, I think, explain a lot why he is happy now, having left the sport, and why it maybe didn't work out. I think maybe Red Bull recognized that in him and just knew that he wouldn't be the right person to go into the Red Bull. Yeah, that's very interesting. He said a lot without having to say anything there.
We don't have anybody in the other car putting in performances that are like, wow.
Are you kidding me? Yuki.
Honestly, I think this test on Thursday, we have to have a good look at Liam. Because if we keep going like this, we're fucked.
So once again, it was a test at Silverstone.
Yeah, Max is coming up this afternoon, yeah?
So you can compare the two.
Okay.
Slap in the face, like, oh shit.
How far off was this lap compared to Max's lap?
Just under 2/10.
2/10. That's better than Checo.
It's always good to keep drivers on their toes.
I disagree.
Will give their life, to be in my seat. I just laugh at it.
Oh god, that Twitter post that aged terribly.
Is Daniel still hungry?
If he doesn't have it,
Why wouldn't he still have it?
whether it's like I was saying about the horse, it's whether it's still burning inside.
There's still like this inner confidence and belief that I can do something pretty special. I feel like as hungry as I was 10 years ago.
I wonder if that stuff he was saying about being vulnerable was when he was dropped. Maybe they kind of swapped the order of...
Breaking news is that Formula One's Daniel Ricciardo has been dropped by the RB team.
A lot of people thought it would be Checo. I'm not sure anybody expected Daniel.
Yeah.
I always thought Daniel Ricciardo had at least one Formula One World Championship in him.
I agree.
And I know he did. But it's game over.
Oh, that empty chair.
I don't know if you know this
Oh.
or don't know this, but I don't have a race to prepare for, so...
Oh, well. Got whiskey?
Cleanse the palate.
So, is this it then?
This is it.
He looks happy though, I think.
Yes, my dream was to be world champion, and there was years along the way where I genuinely felt like it was going to happen. I got close. That's okay. But if I was world champion sitting here today, does it change how I feel or view myself or anything like that?
Alrighty, I got this. I'm gonna nail it. Oh yeah, let's do it. Fuck 'em all.
I don't think so. Maybe my ego would be big. We don't want that. So I have no regrets.
I think if Daniel had have been banging on the door and putting in some big results, then that would have been a way easier decision.
Yeah, I do think that's fair.
Is that fire still burning brightly inside him? Liam Lawson, there's petrol on the fire.
I think that is fair. I think I can see that. Looking back on it, I don't disagree with what Horner was saying there, where Liam really wanted it and Daniel didn't seem like he did anymore in an extent. If they weren't gonna give Daniel the Red Bull seat, then it's better to put Liam in that Racing Bull seat. So like, I understand why they did it. I still don't quite get why they kept Checo. But I guess it was like if you replace him with Daniel and he doesn't do much better, then you're also costing yourself Checo's contract. But now the fact that Daniel's out of it and just seems to be happy, I think what was maybe happening was that Daniel's head was saying that he wanted it, but his heart wasn't. And I've kind of been in that situation in the past where like you've spent so much time trying to reach for this goal that the world tells you should want and that you think that you want to live up to some sort of expectation that you have, but that can sometimes be different than your gut feeling and what you really want in your heart. And so maybe that was kind of what was playing in with Daniel, that at some point between the start of his McLaren stint and when they dropped him, he somehow lost the drive and the passion and the competitive spirit and the ego that he once had when he was at Red Bull. I think it just took him a while to kind of recognize that for himself. But once he was dropped, he probably realized it in himself that like, that wasn't what I wanted anymore. And that's kind of how I had felt as well, was like once I finally made the decision to change where my life was going, I just felt so much more secure in myself. I think what ended up happening was probably for the best. Just my one regret with the whole situation is just how they went about dropping Daniel, letting it play out in the media throughout Singapore and not giving him a very good send off. And I think this is helping with understanding why that decision was made. I'm still gonna miss Daniel, and I do hope that he comes back to some races at some point. I think he's probably still figuring out what he wants to do next, and he's kind of gone completely off the grid. The only stuff I've seen from him lately is when he randomly appears on Scotty James's TikToks. I don't know. I'm hoping that eventually he'll kind of figure out where to go next, and we'll kind of get to see him back in some respects. I would hope that he would go into something like what Jensen Button does or Nico Rosberg, where he does a little bit of media at some races. I don't think that actually commentating the races was for him, because he did it once at the Canadian Grand Prix in 2023 with Will Arnett, which was such a weird combination, but I don't think he really enjoyed that all that much. Yeah, so we'll see what he gets up to. I think it'll take him some time, but I think he's just kind of enjoying life right now, catching up on things that he didn't get to do while he was an F1 driver, and then eventually he'll get bored and find something else to do. So that is my mid-show debrief. This is gonna have a lot of interruptions in this one. All right.
Checo, cat with 9 lives. How does he survive?
Truly. That is quite the dress for F1.
Yuki's in with a shot with the Red Bull seat. We know he's quick. What we just want to see from him is that mental resilience, that he's not going to throw it off the circuit at a crucial point in time.
But when was the last time Yuki actually did that?
Who's the better driver then, out of you and Liam?
I mean, result says everything, so I
Get it, Yuki.
Sergio Perez in his home race, 18th, absolute horror in qualifying.
Which race was worse for Checo? This one where he was at the back the whole time, or the year before where he crashed on the first lap? That was not Yuki's fault.
And off goes one of the B cars.
Liam Perez behind.
Here's the battle.
Mate, are you fucking serious?
And then he took out a side.
Welcome to Formula One, Liam Lawson.
Yeah.
What the fuck is this idiot doing?
Truly.
Fucking idiot. This is not go-karts.
And that might be Debbie at turn 12.
I go to the same idiot.
I feel like this was a battle that I missed watching the Mexican GP. They didn't really cover it this much, so... Are they gonna get the finger out?
Yeah, fucking...
I think Liam Lawson just gave Perez the finger as he's gone past. Ferrari overtake Red Bull for second place in the Constructors' Championship.
A driver in the Red Bull Junior Team V-Carb should not be blocking a driver in the senior team. And if one of my drivers gave the finger, we would be having a conversation.
Yes, Claire.
I think it's jeopardised your chances of the seat at Red Bull.
I'd like to think it hasn't.
Mm-hmm. I have a feeling that there will come some point in the season where Liam is going to get into it with Max. I don't know when it'll happen, but I have a feeling that it will, and that is going to cause an absolute shitstorm.
Right, you lot can fuck off now. I turn this mic. You haven't got a microphone.
Did they leave the mic on? Or are they just filming it through the wall?
Liam was overly aggressive with Checo. He took it too far. That is not acceptable. You want to see a bit of spirit in your drivers, but at the same time it needs to be controlled, it needs to be harnessed.
So why did they put him in the Red Bull? It still does not make any sense to me.
And the most compelling candidate for us to replace Checo is Liam Lawson.
I just know it's gonna happen.
He drives a car like Max, and he seems to have an inner strength that can deal with some of the pressures of this business.
Fireworks. That's what I see.
Yeah.
Excited to drive alongside Max.
It's been a very long journey. Obviously what I've dreamt of my whole life, so this is the highlight so far.
I hope you're ready.
Of being next to Max, you have to be mentally very strong and prepared for it. And
Yeah.
it's been a privilege.
From season 1 to season 7, it's been a ride. Arrivederci.
I guess if you're looking at a comparison between Liam and Yuki, I do think that Liam definitely has a more aggressive mindset. I do think that will serve him well at Red Bull. The question I have though is it too much of an aggressive mindset where it goes over the line the other direction? The comparison to Max is there in a sense of where Max is also an ultra aggressive driver. I think they've felt that taming aggression is easier than building it. So we'll see if they're right or not. I still think they are holding this view of Yuki that was maybe from 3 years ago. Like, I think that the Yuki that's driving an F1 now is much better at handling the pressure than he used to be, and I think he has a lot more experience now. He's better at getting the car in a good spot. He's good at qualifying. It just seems like for whatever reason they don't think Yuki could go up against Max. It's a bummer because there's just got to be something else going on there, and like the Honda partnership plays in for sure, but Yuki's dropped that now, and I don't know. We'll see what happens, but yeah. Watch this space because I do think that eventually there's going to be fireworks between Max and Liam, and we could see some big fallout from that if it happens. Yeah, and then Daniel, a huge swath of his career was just being at the wrong place at the wrong time. It started at being at Red Bull just after they were dominant, when it was Mercedes that was dominant, moving to Renault, building that team up, and then leaving before they could reap the rewards of a race win, and then going to McLaren before McLaren became good, and then going back to RB, injuring his hand at a critical point in his fight to get back to the Red Bull, and then kind of taking the hit for the fact that Checo was worth too much money for them to drop him for Daniel for the remainder of 2024. So yeah, just a series of unfortunate events. I think I just look back on Daniel's career as a missed opportunity of unrealized potential. But he's done better than 95% of F1 drivers. Like, he's won 8 races. That's more than most do in their career. And I think for at least 2014 and 2016, he was the 3rd best driver. He was the best of the rest after Mercedes. And he won Monaco. And I think those are some things that he can hold with pride. I do think it was time though. I think even I recognized that, like, at the end there it wasn't looking that good, and you love to see him around, but watching him race was just painful every single weekend. Farewell to Daniel. You will forever be my favorite driver, forever be the reason I got into F1, and he'll forever have the top time on Top Gear. So anyways, that was episode 8. Let me know what you thought about the episode in the comments down below, and I'll see you all for the next one.